hell of being really shallow in your champion pool or what. But either way, we're getting into picks and bans in. We'll see whether the Varus falls through or whether it's going to ban out there.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Enclave on the blue side at Hyperion on the red. As we see now, Azir and Caitlyn taken away straight away. Not too surprising, you know, pretty decent champion. Actually, you talked about it a little bit. Ezreal now taken away. They're very much fearful of EU Twisted on that.
I don't know whether they're fearful or whether they just don't think he can play anything else. You know, just take him off comfort, and then, especially as the AD carry player, if you feel like the enemy AD carry has an exploitable champion pool, exploit it. You know, that's going to be really good for you. So, yeah, we'll see. We've already got 3 out of 4 bans so far are on the AD carries. So whether they keep banning bot lanes away and really pinch that bot lane, but I feel like Frappy's played a lot of Sivir, actually, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I could be. I think I'm thinking of Frappy.
Frappy plays a lot of. He played a lot of Kalista early in the season.
Right. Who's a Sivir guy? I think it's Frappy.
It could possibly be. It could possibly be.
Man, my brain is. What do we say? We said he's got Ezreal and Varus in his champion pool, basically, and he doesn't like picking Tristana. They're basically it's like. They're baiting EU Twisted Fate here and picking the Tristana, which he doesn't want to pick. I don't think he's particularly comfortable on the pick either. And it's either that, or maybe the Jhin, now that that's becoming a little bit more meta. But I feel like if you pick Jhin, you might want to pick something like the Tahm Kench as well to help protect it. We saw it in the last game, in the last series. Even though Diablos lost that series, the Jhin-Tahm combination was pretty potent, honestly, at least for denying the engages onto Jhin. Specifically from the from the Ornn, when the Ornn ultimates came down there for Call of the Forge Gods. So the Swain pickup's the first one we see. Has been I'm pretty sure it's been banned every single game. Yeah. So this is good because it's a really good blind pick. It's a very strong pick, and it's also a good flex pick. So it's kind of ticked off the holy trinity of early picks in the draft, where you don't know whether this is going top lane or whether it's going mid lane. It's most likely going to be top lane. But it could go anywhere. It's
usually in the top lane. Generally speaking, you would see a Gnar ban go into the kind of second half of bans if it is going to the top side. But Karma...
Paris Gree has played this before. This is probably going to be a mid Karma here.
I was going to say, mid Karma. We've seen it a couple of times in LCK. It's kind of making itself back into the meta because so much pressure is on these AD carries to perform.
I mean, we talked about he's probably going to have to pick the Tristana here, so I don't think he's going to be particularly happy with that one. But I actually quite like it into Olaf because it's got... You're a lot safer. If you're picking Jhin into Olaf, you're basically sitting like, unless your support can save you. But considering you've only got one pick here, you will probably... I mean, there's a chance that gets pinched from you, you know, the proper protection with the people like the Tahm Kench. But what I like about Karma is the Karma-Olaf synergy is pretty nutty. You just speed up Olaf, and it's like having another Predator or another Righteous Glory, but you can do it as an AoE speed up as well, so that not only is Olaf running at you at 10,000 miles an hour, but his team also can catch up with him. So it's not just him on the engage, it's everyone on the engage. This would suggest that they're not convinced that that's Swain's top if they're banning away the Fiora.
Yeah, they're definitely not. They do not want that going into the hands of Dan XD, who has kind of seen himself as a Poppy player, and that's about it, unfortunately, for himself.
It could be a Camille prep, sorry to interrupt you, but Kerberos could be going for the Camille. He hasn't really liked doing that too much, but he has done it. Could do Gnar as well.
Cyan banned away, so, you know, a lot of options still left open, even with this Fiora ban, even with the top lane focus.
Yeah.
I suppose even if, you know, Hyperion do pick up their support in the next ban, they still have, or the next pick, excuse me, they still have that last, you know, kind of rotation. Like we said, Swain can go mid, he can go top.
Yeah.
They can try counter pick it. It's about whether or not they're able to do it. And actually, they ban away the Poppy just so that they know it can't be a comfortable pick going back up onto Dan XD if they do swap.
They might have some more information via scrims as to whether or not Hyperion tends to pick Swain as a top or a mid laner. Obviously, we can't really tell. For us, it's just a flex at this point. But either way, I think picking Camille into Swain is a bit risky. Especially when you don't... I mean, you've got the Olaf as sort of like the front line. But he's not like the huge... like the Sejuani or the Zac or something like that, in my opinion. He's a bit more of a... yeah, not so much like that. But either way, I think Camille will be a bit of a risky pick, but we could still see it. Kerberos runs anything into anything. Kerberos really does not care about what the matchup is. At least it seems like when they pick for him. Oh gosh, he's hovering. I mean,
do it.
I don't think he can do it until he knows for sure where that Swain is going.
Honestly, I kind of want him just to do it. I think this would be similar to what Diablos did in Game 2 if they did decide to go pick it. But it is the Camille, like you said, it was going to be. But something I just quickly want to come back to is Nami and Thresh. Tam Kench was left open.
That's true.
And he was not picked up. Janna is left open, was not picked up. There's a couple of different things here, but I'm kind of going like, Nami's great.
Nami is weird in this spot.
I was going to say, like, Nami's great when you have full knowledge of everything you're going into. But the Olaf is the big thing I'm looking at right now, because like, he doesn't care about your CC. And it's actually going to be a Kassadin, most likely in that mid lane, so it is going to be down XD with Swain on the top.
It is Swain top lane, and this Kassadin, we've seen it once already today, but it was a blind pick into Talon and didn't work too well. This is a counter pick into the Karma, so obviously Emmy hasn't picked this unknowing what he's going up against. He knows he's going up against the Karma.
Would hope.
You would hope, yeah. And he feels comfortable in that, which is fair enough. So this, in my opinion, this puts a lot of pressure onto EU Twisted Fate, who's already on his third string AD carry, who he doesn't like playing because he prioritizes Ez over Tristana, even so far as to first pick it, which doesn't really make a lot of sense in as far as like the kind of objective, unbiased draft goes, draft process goes. But either way, he's your only sustained physical damage at this point, and can he do it? You know, can he do it? I mean, he's not playing something he wants to play. Yep,
he has to really come up big, and the Kassadin into the Karma is kind of like a weird mismatch because she'll always have the lane being able to clear with the empowered Mantra Q, and also when the Kassadin comes in, she can just tether him, and then he has to go back out. There's no real kill potential for the Kassadin, but you know it's all about that sideway pressure. It's all about Kassadin going in from the flank, jumping onto the AD carry, you know, being able to jump on Varus without an escape and blow him up in those late game fights. Whether or not we get there for Hyperion is a different story.
I think it's also kind of scary to pick the Kassadin here because you're obviously not playing for anything in the lane phase. It's kind of, I'd say you can probably farm versus Karma. I don't think it's like a really hard matchup, but I really don't think you're going to kill Karma at any stage of the game. There are some matchups that get a lot easier as soon as you hit level 6. I don't think Karma's one of those necessarily, where she's, I don't think you can kill her, like you mentioned. But if you play for the, that means you're playing for the split push and you're playing for the side lanes. But how do you stack up against the Camille? I don't think you do, really. I mean, Camille is, she presses R on Kassadin, what does he do? And Kassadin's biggest strength is his kind of like jumping in, jumping out, skirmishing, burst kind of stuff. But if he's stuck in that Hexic ultimatum, what happens? He's just sitting duck, really. So I think Emmy's got his. It's going to be a difficult game for Emmy. We'll put it that way. But if he can get going, alleviate some of that pressure on EU Twisted Fate, on the Tristana, then make him more of like a secondary carry. Or, you know, have the support in there of there are other people. As I said,
like just kind of like enable the rest of his teammates to be able to push forward. But something we actually haven't even talked about is the Camille Swain matchup. We kind of like looked around the map and kind of looked all the other lanes, but Swain now officially on the top side, Camille going up against him. It's a very to and fro-y matchup, I find, and it's definitely something that can snowball really heavily in one way if the things go that particular way.
I feel like that's always going to happen with Camille as well, though. But, I mean, I was a bit hesitant when I was calling that it might be a Camille pick because you didn't know who was going to be the top laner, and I didn't think you wanted to really pick it against the Swain. I'm not convinced that Camille into Swain is necessarily a good matchup, but then I said Kerberos picks anything into anything.
Yep.
But I don't think it's terrible either. I mean, Camille isn't as prioritized as she is while having huge glaring weaknesses because she just doesn't have them. You know, you can't. Yep. She was first pick for quite a few patches. Honestly, or first pick worthy for quite a few patches. Even in this patch, honestly, you can first pick her, and you can't blind pick someone unless you're confident that you'll at least be okay. You know, so I feel like that's how it is into the Swain. She'll be fine. Like she's not gonna get absolutely stomped. But anytime you're like a melee and you're a squishy, especially, and you're playing against someone like Swain who'll get tanky, so you can't really assassinate him, you can't really jump on him and destroy him. Who's actually pretty good in close quarters as well, as far as it goes. I think it could be a bit tricky for Kerberos, but I feel like he's one of their strongest members, and if anyone could pull off the matchup, then Kerberos could, for sure.
Yep. He definitely has proven his worth in previous matchups, so would be quietly confident that he would be okay going in up against the Swain. But ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the Rift for Game 1 of this best of 3 playoffs to decide who goes to the finals in 2 weeks' time. ESL Premiership powered by Intel and gaming from PC World. We're going to be getting into this one fairly quickly. Both mid laners taking minion dematerializer, both realizing that lane priority and lane push is very, very important.
Yeah, not surprising to see that from Emmy specifically. I mean, we saw it as well. I think it was the last game actually between Diabolus and Excel, where playing versus a Caitlyn lane, you take the dematerializer to make it a little bit easier when Caitlyn pushes you in. But to also have it on the Karma is a bit overkill in my opinion. But either way, oh look at that! They get the ward. This game's over.
And also gets a ghost ward. It's done. It's done. Like it's 100% done. GG next.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a good start, Hyperion.
Yeah. But looking at this bot lane, the bot lane is so strange. Just with those supports that were picked up. Thresh has been creeping back in, but I would not regard him as S tier.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Actually, it's going to be Hyperion getting their red buff stolen, but they have got a ward on it, so he will be able to react. Demo be able to take his red straight, or take his blue straight into the enemy red if he so chooses.
Depending on how they protect it, it could be a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
Sejuani will get a bit low doing it. It looks like she's not even going. Oh, Pashkri's rage quit already. Did you miss the? Did he miss the minion?
He missed the minions. Now he's done.
Yeah.
He's done. He's absolutely done there. But quick pause. Obviously, some connection issues there for Paris, and you can tell that they're not messing around with absolutely anything right now either. They're not taking any chances immediately. It was just ward red, get the Cassidy back into lane, relax, don't be worrying about it. It's just a red buff.
Yeah, but you're already starting on the back foot, which is tough, honestly.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna. It looks like they're not gonna match the invade, so they're gonna be a little bit down on this early one here. But we'll see. I mean, it's not. Oh, I think
he's back.
Okay, he's actually back.
Missed 3 minions though.
It's not guaranteed to be the end of the world, because we did see in the previous series where Taxa picked Nidalee into a Jarvan. They went for a level 1 invade, completely ballsed it up, got nothing out of it. But Taxa still just ran away in the jungle matchup. So.
He was Nidalee, in fairness.
He was Nidalee, but yeah, he was Nidalee. But even so, I feel like you could make the argument.
Oh,
that was a bad start. That is a bad start by Hyperion.
This is not looking positive right now. Already we're seeing small little advantages being crept up, and actually we saw Olaf immediately go from the enemy red to his own red, and then now is kind of starting to clear on his jungle. So it's so difficult right now to see how Demo actually has an impact on these lanes, especially considering he's going to try and go for a bot side.
Here they go.
Flash. Dedo trying to see if he can do something, flashing away. And that's a good little piece of early game aggression. And even with that ward, I feel like it could be a lot deeper up that lane. And it definitely, kind of punishing the bot lane for over-aggression on the side of Enclave.
Monk is going for an aggressive play of his own here, though. He's sitting in the wolf pit. He's going to face check Demo.
Demo going to be able to get away pretty damn easily, though, because he has got the anti-slow passive up and ready to go. But still no blue buff on the side of Olaf, and Monkey's still yet to go for that. Demo would have noticed that one, though, so definitely a little bit of a worry for Olaf, trying to prioritize the pressure. He's actually, funny enough, he takes the red, but he's down on farm.
Yeah, he's down a whole camp.
Yep.
But he's done a bit of globe-trotting, to be honest.
Yeah.
He started topside, then he went down, and then he went into enemy jungler, and now he's topside again. So yeah, he's a bit inefficient with his pathing right here. We've seen Monkas be really good on Zac, but I feel like he's one of the weaker junglers in the Prem, at least from the playoff teams. And Demo is, I feel like if Hyperion, Demo has been their best player in a few games in my opinion, so. Oh, gotta be careful here, you've got no flash.
Oh, you got no flash, Ignite goes down, heal used as well, but it's actually going to be going over. Frappy, though, forced the flash away as well. So all summoners burned, but Demo now on the back side of this maybe goes for something. They flash into the bubble. They will be able to get a kill, but unfortunately for them, the kill went over to the Varus, and he's still in lane. He can soak up all these lovely minions as they start to crash into his turret. And a weird exchange, but overall a 1-for-1.
Overall 1-for-1, but you've always got to be careful when you have no flash and you go for those 2v2 plays. Because that's what happens, you just die. But you don't want to fall behind this early in the 2v2 lane if you are Hyperion. I mean, Tristana to scale, you can play pretty safe. We've seen XC Smiley today play Tristana to quite some effect. But it certainly hasn't gone like this, where you have a death, a 2v2 death at 4 minutes. Ooh. That's the toughness of that top lane matchup as well.
And with all the pressure that Olaf's been kind of showing towards the jungle rather than to the actual lanes, is that he is 100% safe to go for this. As Emmy now maybe forced to flash, does get slowed, get the Mantra Q on top of him as well. Monkeys takes a nice little tower hit and then backs away, but Summoners being burnt left, right, and center. And actually, the more I look at it, the more I'm like on the side of Hyperion, that pre-level 6, they actually have very little ways of getting out of CC, even soft CC like the Undertow.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things where, I mean, we're waiting for level 6 from Kassadin so that he can actually escape stuff. And he gets punished before he reaches his gap closer point. But you Twisted Fate was waiting for level 2 before he got his gap closer, and he also got punished for that. So, yeah, a good start as far as Enclave is going. This means they can set up quite nicely as well for follow-up plays if they so choose. Though I would argue that it's going to be basically impossible to gank that Kassadin after level 6. Karma not really offering too much in that. Good dodge from the hook there, though. But Twisted Fate's still going pretty far forward. Oh, that's the play. Oh.
Dedo makes Tristana. Dedo and Daijin going to be pushed underneath the tower. Nice kind of flay into the Lantern combo as well to kind of bring the Olaf straight into the fray. But I don't feel like this Tristana is going to be having a very good time right now. Good guy minions, though, blocking that Q. Means Paris does not get much more harassed down onto this Kassadin, who we knew was going to be put under pressure.
You have to respect the Thresh, though, that kind of combo. If you're Tristana. Tristana's rocket jump is very good at escaping CC because you can buffer it before the CC lands and then still actually go through with the jump. It's pretty crazy. Oh, but this could be... Demo's on his way here. He's only level 5, but maybe.
Yeah, Paris still has flash. They're still trying to go on top of this. Monkeys pops the Predator. Now he's running in onto Emmy, who's probably going to go down immediately. Dan XD just a little bit too late to the party. Great Lantern as Thresh finds himself just in no man's land, realistically. As we see Monkeys just baiting in as we go all in from the side of Enclave. They've turned on. They've showed up. Paris will most likely die, but it's not really that big of a deal right now, as it's just a slow and painful wait for Dan XD to go down to Kerberos. He gets himself another kill. 101, 202 for him and the Olaf. Enclave, they've came to play. They're 2,000 gold up already.
Yeah, it's a bit of a significant lead for the 7-minute mark. I think that was, while all that fight was going down, Olaf just decided to take the red buff as well while they were finishing off Swain. So that's that in his pocket. He also took the chickens too, so that's actually pretty painful. That's a pretty big punish as far as not only do you lose the fight, but you lose 2 of your camps. That doesn't feel good if you're Demo. Especially, I feel a bit bad for Demo in these situations because it's not really mistakes that he's making. It's his laners. Well, yeah, it's basically he's getting sucked into plays with his laners because he's kind of forced to help them. And at this point, before level 6, his team just needs to chill out a little bit, because he's not really very useful at this point, especially when he's playing into an Olaf who, I mean, you're seeing what he's doing. He just predators in, he goes crazy, and he does crazy amounts of damage.
Yeah, and already at 202, has got his fully upgraded Cinderhulk item as well. So that's actually such a huge spike for him. He can now kind of really focus on just power farming and then running into those lanes. Demo, though, has other ideas, creeps himself into that bush onto the side wave. Has got level 6 available. Frappy, no cleanse, will get deleted down. Actually, just about gets taken off. Another great play is EU Twisted And we see now Olaf coming in. There's 1 kill. Will he be able to get any more off of this again? Daijin just going to be able to flash.
Olaf might die.
Oh, Olaf will die here, I think. Will he? No, not before taking out the Nami. And Dedo.
Oh, the double buff Sejuani flashes in for the auto attack. Oh, that's what I call hyper play.
That right there is the epitome of handbags.
Yeah, that was a bit
over aggressive.
I mean, he's 3-1-0. The killer. I wonder whether he's going to sell his Ruby Crystal and buy a Runic Echo.
He did only just get those 2 kills there. Like, it's not a big thing. But Xanax, the Kerberos, able to put down some nice hurt there onto him, able to utilize the hook shot and really kind of punish him. We saw at the early stages that DanXD was the one pushing in, but those extra little, you know, kind of assists and kills are able to kind of pull Kerberos back up into this matchup, I should say. And Triforce is only around the corner for the Camille.
I really like the way that Detto is playing this game. He's quite patient. Even though Thresh as a champion holds a lot of tools for being a playmaker, and he's certainly making a lot of plays, but he's not over-forcing it, and he's not trying too hard, if that makes sense, which then means that he's more patient and he finds a better opportunity to make these plays. Like these flays, for example, have been pretty crazy. Like he's been able to cancel the rocket jump on 2 or 3 occasions. He's roamed into the mid lane in that play that we saw a little while back there, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes ago. I mean, a lot of that was facilitated because he just happened to be in the mid lane at that time, which is quite a common strategy for support players in general after they recall, to do a cheeky detour through the mid lane before they go back. But we might see an invade, but I think I think Enclave sort of know about this one.
Yeah, and actually the invade just kind of amounts to nothing. They don't sort of know, they 100% know as they are sitting on a ward. They're waiting for something. As I say that though, might be the other side that actually go for this. The TP coming in from Kerberos as he looks for a fight. Does not actually get a good movement on his hookshot at all. But Daijin gets taken down by Monkeys. And whipped back in there. Demo in a lot of trouble. Detto showing that T is greater than M as he whips him back into the game and throws out a hook just in case he had a flash or anything like that. And as I say that, Frappy though, going to be able to use a Chain of Corruption. There's the Undertow down. EU Twisted. He's going to die. They're going to gift that one over to Frappy. 10-4, landed on the backside. It's all Enclave all the time, and Hyperion have only got scraps to work with.
Here comes the TP.
To the top lane. Pure, unadulterated wave clear.
What a hyper TP that was. Insane macro knowledge, map awareness. You could get a nice proactive play here from Hyperion, their first of the game.
Yeah, they're trying to jump in on top of Paris, and they will pick him up. Emmy getting that kill, but first tower did go over to the side of Enclave on that bot side. It will be answered, however, by Hyperion in the top. So overall, in terms of global objectives, equal out for both sides.
I mean, that's not bad. They're only really, like, basically 3k gold behind here. I know it's only 12 minutes into the game, but a lot of that really is just going on in the bot lane. If you look at the CS totals, if you look at the scores as well, it's honestly a pretty even game. They're just really punishing EU Twisted Fate. He's not having a great game so far, and I talked about this a little bit in the draft as well, about how he really does not like playing Tristana, or he seems quite uncomfortable on it. But he's really good on Varus. Like when you watch him play and he gets Varus, this is what I was talking about how Hyperion have had quite close games, even though they've been 1-9, because EU Twisted Fate, his KDAs, his scores, the way he's playing, even in games he loses, but he's playing Varus, has still been pretty good.
Oh dear, Daijin, you have no flash, you have no hope.
No,
you will go down. That's another free kill going over, and Dedo, he's just everywhere. It's so oppressive.
He's playing really well so far, and it's a joy to watch because he's playing one of these playmaking champions who can do this kind of stuff. So he can move around, and when he's rewarded for, oh my gosh.
Yeah, Paris actually not going to go down right now because he's just too tanky with those shields. They're just going to keep pushing in and ultimately get nothing. Dedo, had he landed that, almost a certain kill. but he doesn't quite get there, unfortunately, in the end. Top lane turret did go down in favor of Enclave, so now they're on a bit of a roll. A lot of objectives just kind of going over to them, a lot of gold going over to them. Was 3K 2 minutes ago, now it's 4K. Now Emmy not quite going to get hooked by Dedo. Possibly was an option, but not unfortunately for them. And Enclave try and look for a reset, get Kerberos back into a side lane, and really start to hit home. Dragon is a cloud, so you wouldn't imagine either side will really be looking for that, quote unquote.
Not really, but it's not really looking for it, but at the same time, you should probably start, you know, it's a free objective at this point. You've built up so much pressure from, the foundations on which you're building your victory this game is in that bot lane, if you're Enclave. So it makes sense that you just pick up the Dragon, you know, it's basically free for you. The enemy bot lane can't stop you really at all. They're really weak compared to your bot lane. You've been punishing them throughout the whole game. One plus side though, I would say here, or a plus side for Hyperion, is that their farm is decent, even in that lane that they've been heavily punished in. He's only 10 CS down on Tristana compared to the Varus. And honestly, if he's not comfortable on a champion, that usually manifests itself in the lane phase, because you're just not quite sure how you should play the matchup. You're not quite sure the mechanics that you should be employing in the lane. But the later the game goes on, especially a champion like Tristana, who's just like a right-click champion, a safe right-click champion. I mean, if this game goes on a bit later, I'm sure he'll look a lot better, basically.
Yeah, we see now last outer turret gone down. That is the third one for tier 1s. Hextech ultimate used to bait out the Swain ultimate, so that's going to be a big cooldown for both top laners. Dan XD though arguably not getting the most out of his, considering he had to do it as a deterrent more than anything else. But
it looks like it has a much lower cooldown as well, looking at the little circles there. I mean, I guess that's worth it as far as cooldowns go, but if I'm Kerberos, if I'm Enclave, then I really would like to keep an ultimate like that, because it's a catch, it's a tool to catch people, it's a playmaking ultimate as well, and if you're looking to snowball a game out like Enclave is, then that's the kind of thing that you really want in your arsenal.
Yeah,
so they might be fighting, are they going at it again bot lane as well? I don't know.
I was going to say as well, thinking of things in your arsenal, as I say that, Frappy though gets CC locked. No escape, no cleanse, and that's actually going to be the rest of Enclave getting chased down. Hyperion are not going without a fight. Rifty's still in that mid lane.
Oh, that was close.
Oh, Unkiss just about getting out with his life. So 2 kills for 1 tower, definitely not the, or sorry, no towers, excuse me. The mid lane turret did not go down. So definitely worth on the side of Hyperion. They're making a few plays, trying to get themselves back to an advantage.
And that's all you want to do at this stage of the game.
Paris is...
Catch Paris.
Yeah, catch Paris. Paris is dead to rights, and that's going to be EU Twisted taking that one out. And they get the TP out of Kerberos. So overall, right now, Hyperion looking like they're the ones with the better mid-game plan.
And again, I've talked a lot about Demo. I've hyped him out as being one of the best junglers in the Prem, even though he's on a 1-19. I feel like a lot of this stuff is happening around him, where he creates... He's got good engages, his pathing is quite smart, he doesn't put himself into too many situations where he's going to fall behind, even though he's not really got anything to play around. But Emmy as well seems to be stepping up too, and Kassadin as a champion who's, in my opinion, if Kassadin gets the ability to scale, then there's always going to be a threat coming out of that, you know, and they don't have the best protection on Enclave's side. If Frappy's by himself and Parascree's kind of caught unawares, you know, Kassadin can definitely jump in onto Varus, and that's going to be hard for him to deal with, or he's going to have to rely on his team to help him deal with it. There's potential in that right there. The top lane matchup's pretty even, and EU Twisted Fate, despite his struggles, will be scaling.
Emmy though, oh,
okay.
Tried to predict where the Rift Walk will go. Stopwatch use, that's going to be Emmy going golden. And actually Frappy goes down. Emmy just about getting out with his life. Now Olaf's in trouble, and Enclave, we didn't really have, you know, give Hyperion any kind of credit, but credit where credit's due. They've nearly equaled out the kills and the gold. You Twisted. Needs to be a little bit careful, but Hyperion, they've come to play, and they've clearly come with a game plan.
It feels like Enclave are disrespecting Hyperion a little bit, honestly, and that's a risky strategy when you're playing a best of series. We saw last series with Diablos into Excel. Diablos won the first game, and the second game, it felt like they disrespected Excel in the draft. They lost that one, and then they went on to lose the entire series.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to foreshadow anything for Enclave right now. I still think
Hyperion to win the Premiership.
Yeah, they're going to win it all. I mean, they're generally only 400 gold down at this point, and you know, these engages, overstaying with pushes as well. It's just disrespect, because you're playing versus Sejuani. I mean, that's one of the best, if not the best, engaged junglers in the game. When you can play around the ultimate, you've got to respect that. I mean, it looks as though Frappy is rushing a Sash, though. He's had enough of this Sejuani, getting all up in his grill. So he's going to rush that. To be honest, after that point, it should be a lot easier for Varus here. Because, I mean, he has no other innate kind of like mobility or ways to really escape the Sejuani. He has his ultimate for self-peel, but it's not really what you're looking for against something like a Sejuani ultimate or the stun from Sejuani, you know. So either way, 2 items are now complete on the Twisted Fate, and he's honestly just as strong as the Varus, really. So, he actually isn't going into the...
Wit's End.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, no, it's just... it's definitely one of those little things. In fairness, I think it goes... Does it not go no Magic Mantle into Quicksilver?
Yeah, you're right. That's like an old... Yeah, that change probably happened years ago. I'm still living in the past.
But one thing I did notice there very, very quickly on the side of Hyperion, Redemption finished up for the Nami. Very last second there, as before we went into the pause. And, you know, a couple of small things to come up with is that Tristana outscales a Varus, arguably. The Cassidy outscales a Karma 100%. Swain and Camille can be a bit of a tit for tat, and Sejuani definitely outscales an Olaf. So you're looking at a long game that you realistically, on paper, on the side of Enclave, don't win. You don't win that long game. You don't come out on top. And honestly, you talked about disrespecting the damage, disrespecting everything like that, but Hyperion, they clearly have come in with a game plan. They know how these champions work, and if they can come out with the win on this game, that gives them such a huge confidence boost, because now they're going in as the unknown factor. Nobody really gave them any credit. They were written off, and now all of a sudden Enclave, in the space of 5-10 minutes after game one, if they do lose, have to figure out what the hell they're going to do.
Especially since their strategy in game one from Enclave was quite targeted against Hyperion. They completely targeted EU Twisted Fate in the bot lane, and they've played around that in game as well. So it feels like they think that they have the answer already, and it just wouldn't work, you know, if they were to lose this game, of course.
Yeah, and actually, to say that, though, Kerberos going to get jumped on and jump onto ME. As I say that, though, he's going to be able to turn it back fairly bloody quickly. Dan XD goes golden, but only for a little while. Does not want to pop his ultimate just yet, and he will go down to a double kill. And as we were just singing the praises of Hyperion, they seem to all be falling. That's 3 people gone down. Actually, as I say that, though, double kill for EU Twisted. He's got the heal, and he's got the damage with the Sejuani. Ends up being a 3-for-3 play across the map, but it's Enclave who are picking up the objective. They get the tier 2 in that bot side.
They might be able to get the tier 1 in mid lane, which would be very useful for Hyperion.
Close. It'll be close. I don't think he can.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get that. But either way, a trading of kills, that could be worse there. Like
2 onto Tristana.
Yeah, Tristana, exactly. Tristana gets some kills there. And like I say, I feel like Tristana gets easier the later the game goes on to play, at least from EU Twisted Fate's perspective. If he's not particularly comfortable in this champion, just get to the point where you can right-click from range. I'm sure you'll be fine doing that. But again, I mean, I use this word disrespectful. I've used it a fair amount today, and it sort of feels like that with that fight there, where this one right here in the bot side was just Kerberos just beasting this one right here. In the 2v1, picks up a solo kill onto the Cassidy. I don't even know if Power Screen needed to come down, honestly. But then, why, if you know that you've dedicated resources into the bot lane to 2v1 the enemy, would you start a fight with the enemy in the top side, when you now know you're going to be at the numbers disadvantage there?
Very strong. I suppose with the Nami going down so quickly, but Tristana onto that 3rd Zeal item is going to get really scary. Monkeys has not got any armor whatsoever. He's got magic resistance and health. He will be melted in 3 or 4 auto attacks. Next dragon is spawning. It's actually going to be a contestable one, arguably, as it is going to be the Infernal. Demo just trying to ease away from this mid lane. As I say that, though, they're going to jump onto Ditto, or Detto even. There's the hook there. Just catch the... Oh, Daiji gets a lot of damage down on top of him. He's going to be in so much trouble as he gets blown up, but this could turn out to be pretty damn good as DanXD picking up a lot of damage with that Demon Flare. Will end up flashing away, but only to get taken out straight away off the backside here. Eve Twisted just can't get any auto attacks off. He's constantly on the back foot, constantly retreating. Ends up being 2 kills to none in favor of Enclave, and I feel like they've taken these last few trades and said, you know what, it's time for us to take this seriously.
Yeah, Enclave decided to group, and if you're going to group when you're this far ahead, then yeah, I mean, it's going to work out pretty well. When I say this far ahead, I mean, even though the gold lead's not that huge, the
Towers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The actual strength of the teams definitely favors Enclave right here, especially when you consider Kerberos is an absolute beast.
Yeah, Kerberos
right
is huge.
So strong. And when you have a supportive mid laner and you have a strong carry, and that can be Kerberos in this instance as well. It doesn't have to be your AD carry or your mid laner. You got this strong carry in Kerberos, huge amounts of damage, level advantages pretty much on everyone on the enemy team. He'll pop people ridiculously fast, and then Parascree can just facilitate him by shielding, which is what happened in that fight, which enabled him to go in, insta-kill an army, and then walk back out again. So it's a tricky one here if you're Hyperion, but still the strategy doesn't change. You still want to scale.
Oh no! DanXD, you got Zanya's, but it's only going to keep you alive for so long. Kerberos picks himself up a solo kill. That's the problem for the side of Hyperion right now. They can't deal with the 7-0-1 Camille. And while that's been going down, now Baron has been started. Enclave looking to try and get something here. There's the turret going down in the mid lane, actually. I didn't even notice that one. It was super low from when they got the Rift Herald earlier in the game, but they have gotten themselves off of the Baron. They're actually just giving time to Camille because someone now has to go deal with Kerberos in that bot side. They have to do something, otherwise they're just going to keep losing turrets. They're losing so much off of this already.
I feel like this one is a lose-lose situation for Hyperion. Demo's prepped for the steal. They're struggling with the vision. They're not actually going to go for the 50-50, so instead they back off. They accept, they just take it from what Kerberos got. I think that's really smart because it's... If you do it this way, you're guaranteed a positive, but you're risking, and you're risking nothing. Whereas if you've done it the other way, you're guaranteed a positive. You risk a double positive, but you also risk kind of nothing because you cancel it out by throwing away the Baron. So I think this is smart, honestly. And with that bot lane inhibitor being down, that preps the future dragon really, really nicely for Enclave. Because if bot lane has these super minions and bot lane is pushing him really far, that is the furthest lane away from the Baron. So you got bot lane pushing in with super minions. Someone's going to have to answer that. And when they're answering that, you can be on the opposite side of the map trying to go for the Baron. So Enclave, I feel like have started to play this game a little bit smarter. Maybe they thought the game was going to come pretty easy to them. And it sort of did and then sort of didn't. So playing it a bit more smart, going back to their roots and showing us why they are such a good team and why they beat Diablos in the tiebreaker and why they are the second seed in Group B. And
the only team to beat Misfits Academy as well. So a couple of different things that obviously we were expecting from them big time, especially considering the ceiling as such they have shown us. But coming up to 26 minutes in the game, we already see a near Sterex gauge finished up for the 7-0-1 Kerberos. Spirit Visage and the Righteous Glory for Olaf. And then what is that? I think it is the Morello Nomicon. Yeah, I forgot how the image looked now because no one ever builds it. Morello Nomicons, the Fiends and Holy Grail, and the Ardent Censor for the Paris. So he's looking pretty good to just enable his team, especially considering with Kerberos, Olaf, and with Frappy's Varus, he will be giving a massive steroid to every single one of them.
I was going to mention when Varus built Amtome and then sat on the Fiendish Codex that it was most likely going into a Banshee, which is something, you know what, I'll talk about this after the Baron, because this one's going to go down pretty quickly, and Kerberos is going in
Yeah, Kerberos goes in on the Daijin, but he's actually shut down straight away, and that's a great tidal wave onto pretty much everybody. Now here comes the TP. It's actually going to be a re-engage double kill, and a great ultimate from the Sejuani means they can keep going on top of this.
Baron's really low.
He's really low. It's just about 2,000 health. They need to try and make a decision. Now they're going to turn on it, but they still have monkeys, and he goes in, but he doesn't get the steal. And it's Hyperion trying to keep this one going. DanXD just able to do so much. Not quite able to get the stun onto monkeys there, but they're still chasing. They're still pushing. They won't be able to get anything else out of this, but they may actually lose something else a little bit more. There's a lot of damage there available. Frappy's off to the side. Now they get onto monkeys. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. They're trying to do as much as they possibly can. Don't overextend, Hyperion. There's just too much in the line for you right now. As Frappy gets jumped on, but he gets taken out. A great hook in, or even a grab in by the Swain. And this game has been blown wide open again. Baron taken, kills given. Hyperion are not dead yet.
That was one of the more sloppy plays I think I've seen around the Baron. Kerberos just, he thought he was Superman. You're 7-0, of course, you're indestructible. You're destroying the game, but it doesn't quite work when you jump in 1v5. That was a little bit too far forward there. He can probably actually get away with that if he's got the Thresh Lantern, if he's got the Karma Shields, but he didn't have either of those things. He had nothing, and he just goes down and dies. And that preps really the rest of it to all just go down, because a lot of your eggs are in the Kerberos basket here.
Yep.
And securing Baron was so useful for Hyperion. The gold lead is basically even here. I would say it's still going to be very hard for Hyperion to win the game, purely from the perspective that despite that happening and the goal leads being quite equal here, I don't really see how you match the Camille right now. Like that's still going to be ridiculously hard. I don't think after that Swain stops solo dying to her. You know, like it's still going to be tricky.
But the big thing right now is that Banshee's Veil has delayed Frappy for a huge amount. And as I say that though, here comes the Demacia, but he doesn't get anything, uses the Lantern to get out. That's Infernal Drake, very important Infernal Drake for Hyperion. But big. Back to my original point, triple crit items and an Executioner's Calling onto the Tristana versus just effectively a Quinzoo's and a Wit's End. It is such a mismatch in that bot side.
Well, this is what I wanted to bring up before when Frappy was building into this Banshee's Veil, because this is something that I discovered when I was doing my thing where I take a look at the high-ranked players on the Korean Solo ladder to see what kind of interesting video I can make with a title in full caps. And I spotted this guy. I spotted this Korean AD carry challenger guy, and I told my brother Fi about it, and he made a video. And basically what this guy does is he goes 2 items, Wit's End, Ginzu's, and then third item is always an AP item. So either Void Staff, Banshee's Veils, or Zhonya's are the big 3 that he goes. Because Varus has really, really good AP scaling, so he actually does get a crazy amount of damage still from this build.
Yeah, I was going to stop you there, but a 4-man tidal wave is able to delay so much, and Tristana and Kassadin are just not caring right now. So much damage, double, Boil and Trouble. Emmy and Twisted Fate coming out big. Hyperion looking to get some serious work done.
What has happened in this game?
They can end. There's only Camille left. They can 100% end this game. They have Baron buff on 1 minion.
I mean, if they end this game, that would be a shocker. But you know what? Actually, I think you might be right. It's a Tristana there as well. They might go for this one.
I think they can. They 100% can go for this. Camille only coming back now. Kerberos the last one left, but he's got no damage realistically against the 5 people. 1 Nexus turret goes down. 2 Nexus turrets go down along with Kerberos. And my God, against everything everyone has ever said, Hyperion take game 1.
And they just doubled their win column for the entire split with that one game. Who thought that was going to happen?
Wow.